Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on the planet. This is Black Spring with Autumn on your Tuesday, November 11th. And for those of you that are out there celebrating or you have the day off, congratulations. Make the most of it. It makes a difference when you can have some time to just decompress from either work or, dare I even say, some of the liners or some of the headlines that we've been seeing. Of course, this is Black Spring with Autumn on your Tuesday, and right this second, I kind of just want to come in and just chew a little bit about where things kind of stand right now, and maybe later come back. Kind of want to get into some AI or some other areas that I haven't gotten onto for a while. But I just think that this is a very pivotal time, and you know, for many of us, we know that it is, and we know why. If you're on this channel, thank you so much for coming on, or for stopping by, or for peeking in just to see even what we're doing over here. But I know, but for the best results, or for the best background, you might want to check out some of the archives if you are coming over as a first timer to the channel. So I'm going to try to give you guys a couple of minutes to come in here just to see what this is. Actually more of a temperature check on this Veterans Day, November 11th, 2025. I would imagine some of you guys maybe you're doing things, or maybe you're working, whatever it is. But thank you for considering if you do get a chance to drop in. So yeah, I didn't quite get to do the weekend wrap up, but I think there'll be plenty to chew on within the next few days. Because today, of course, is November 11th, and allegedly the Senate passed the funding bill on the 10th, which was yesterday. And for those of you that are, whether you're gematria or you do the numbers, I mean, some people might even say there's some spiritual implication or symbolism in regards to the way this was done. I'm almost start calling these things exercises, because I think rather than people shutting down right now, I tell you what, how about this? How about now that if this thing is done, how about you start up, or don't you ever shut down? If they shut down, how about you start up and don't ever start? Don't you ever shut down? And when I say that, I mean, keep your head, dare I say, keep your head on a swivel, or don't you ever shut down. Just like, I talked about this the other day, or I titled the stream a few days ago, Crisis or Opportunity. Well, the same thing goes for us. Same thing goes for the common man. Is this an opportunity? Is it a crisis? Or what is it? What are you going to do? What are you going to do with this experience? Is it a cautionary tale for you? Is it, excuse me? Fred Chambers, I think you need to change your tone, change the channel. change your tune, change the channel. So for those of you that are out there that are checking in, if you're being a voyeur, I appreciate you for coming in here and loving on the like button. And I'm not sure what Fred Chambers 7030. Yeah, that's very inappropriate. Very inappropriate, to say the least. Okay, that's what you get on that one. But what I wanted to say was, is this an opportunity for you? Are you going to shut down? But see, a lot of people, I think they've already done that. So we'll just make a little note to self. So yeah, I'm trying to give you guys about 4 minutes in, and I've gotten one Fred Chambers 7030. Not sure what happened there, but so yeah, so I'm talking about the way I coined a couple of streams a little while ago. Well, I mean, I accept your apology. I mean, I get that this is social media, but this is not that channel. Okay, there's nothing Geo fans about this channel, you know. But what I was saying is, if you're going to come in, just think about the things that have happened here. And then to me, I'm not confident that this is completely over, because it's almost like, I'm not going to go down to, I'm not going to give anybody a civics lesson here, but do they not realize that even though the Senate can say, oh yeah, we passed a funding bill on November 10th, but there's still two steps in this. Okay, so now what? It sits with the House, representatives, and it has to get that yes vote, and then it also has to get a signature from the president. So I think people are already, I'm like, whoa, Nelly, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. Is it really? So I'm just thinking, just first, the cautionary tale, I mean, but I'm just thinking we're not going to keep getting opportunities. I think we need to, we need to figure some things out in the meantime. But I will tell you, I guess to some people that refer to them as the powers, they might say, wow, that didn't take long to get people to lull people right back to sleep. And you could feel it. You could feel it and you could see it before it even happened. That people were already, as soon as they got that little word that the shutdown was over. I told you guys the other day that people were already some people are already in celebratory modes on their actual YouTube channels, or either you can hear the hope restored in the tone of some of these channels. But for how long? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, whatever the Senate came up with over the weekend, even that's only through January. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna be right back here. I mean, what do they call it? Kick the can down the road? What are you gonna do? Kick the can down the road until January, whatever, some odd date, and then be right back here again in less than 3 months to have this again. So that's also the reason why I'm thinking that this is not quite done. Okay, and I'm also hearing, of course, Schumer. He's getting whatever flack on the left dialectic. He's getting flack, and then I think that there's threats to be him to get primaried, and maybe by even AOC or whatnot. Let's see. Fred Chambers 7030. Well, Fred Chambers 7030. I just would like people to come here, and give the content a chance. That's what I would like. That's what I would like for them to do. Give the content a chance. If like I said, maybe have them come by and have a listen or something. This is not auto. I don't expect anybody to auto subscribe. I think that it's kind of, I just, this channel's been around for a little bit, for about 6 years. And, we don't all get what we, quote, deserve, or what we think we might deserve. We don't always get that. So I appreciate you for coming in. And I really appreciate it. So, yeah, so what I'm saying is that I've heard the celebratory tones in people's voices, whether it be social media or whether it be, in the general public. I've heard it. But at the same time, I mean, it's not going to be over until until they go through their process. I mean, I don't want to be, what is it? What was it, a PBS program back in the day that they had, Schoolhouse Rock lessons. I'm not necessarily offering those. Okay, Fred Chambers says, if you are new to the channel, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. I really appreciate that, Fred Chambers 7030. I mean, I have no idea. You could be the nicest personality on the planet. And, you know, I'm just saying, I appreciate you for coming in and you for helping other people to love on the like button is what I say. So, but yeah, what I wanted to also say was that, you know, I just think that we have to, in the words of, I'm going to paraphrase something that Bill Gates said a while back. We have to prepare for the next one. And you might say, Black Spring, what is the next one? Well, whatever that is, you know, whatever it is. Could it be blackouts? Could it be rolling blackouts? Could it be a shutdown? Could it be, some people might even say, this is another reason why you need to secure your own food sources, because if the trucks ever stop rolling to the stores, you know, what are you going to do? If you don't have a garden, if you don't have a system, if we have no levels or no systems of, you know, for self-sufficiency, then you just kind of go right back into the control, you know. And I'm just saying, and I'm not saying that everybody, I'm not completely naive. Everybody, of course, is not on SNAP, or everybody's not supplementing their grocery bills with SNAP. But the problem with that is that a lot of people assume that people that receive SNAP benefits, or a lot of these, dare I say, dare I say, some of the right-wing conservative types assume that these people are non-working people, that they've never worked, or, you know, that they're just not doing enough. And whether they are or not, you know, that is, you know, it's not for them to decide, you know. We don't know anyone's circumstances, but I'm just saying specifically, we've got to do something differently just based on what's happened already, okay? Nobody wants to be, nobody wants food dangle, you know, the carrot, for the lack of a better thing. Nobody wants the carrot dangling in their face all the time. I mean, and nobody wants to be under that control. Convos with Cam's here. How are you? Same to you. Thank you, Convos with Cam. Blessings to you as well. So, I'm just doing a little bit of chew right now over what's happening, where the current status of this actual shutdown is. And it's not, to me, we're not, dare I say, we're not out of the woods yet. As I said, whoa, Nelly, to some of those people that have already rejoiced that, oh, the government's open. No, it's not. It's technically not. It still has, as I just said, I don't want to do a schoolhouse rock lesson, but, you know, this is a bill that maybe the Senate passed it, but it still has to go to the House, and it still has to go to the president's desk. So at the same time, I just think that, you know, how many more of these scares are we going to have before people realize we might need to do something different, or we might need to prepare for the next one? And as I just said, what is the next one? You know, I say Black Spring. I don't know what that is. It could be anything from a blackout to cyber. I mean, even Klaus Schwab of WEF, World Economic Forum, the former chair, talked about cyber attack. And what would that do? You would not be able to contact EMS. You would not be able to, you won't be able to just run to a store and grab batteries. You won't be able to run to the store and grab flashlights. You won't be able to do that. You won't. And then you'll be right back in the spin. And so, but I'm just saying, you know, I just think it's kind of wicked, because even though I'm not gematria, a gematria zealot or any of that, I don't do the numbers or anything, but I do think it's kind of wicked how a lot of things that they do, that the powers or the government does, that kind of mocks, you know, it mocks or mimics things from the Bible. Okay, if you just think about it, if you say, you might say this was a 40 days and 40 nights situation. That is pretty wicked. It is pretty wicked. As a matter of fact, I was thinking, are they going to go near, because I've watched a lot of people over the years that are big time in the gematria, just thinking, well, how far are they going to go? Are they going to go to 44 days? I mean, how many more? Or 45? I might say, like, Trump was 45. Okay, are they going to go to 47 because he's a 47? You know, you could go anywhere. You could go a lot of places with this. You really could. On a spirit, but I just said the spiritual. There, I think there is symbolism and there is spiritual. Um, there is duality in just about everything. So that's why I'm saying, I guess that, the numbers, numbers do matter. They do matter. Some people say, well, yeah, we got a book of them from the Bible. I'm just saying. But I'm just curious as to, are we dealing with universal basic income next? Convos with Cam says, I'm convinced they have no limits to their BS. I agree. I agree. And I'm just thinking, whatever it is, this could be short lived. I mean, we're coming up on what is 6 years? 6 years in a few months that we had COVID-19. And now this is our, they got their history when they marked the 40th day of this shutdown. I mean, to me, essentially, COVID was a shutdown. COVID was a what I want to call was a soft shutdown. This one that we're still in is still. This is my comment is important to us. Thank you. Okay, I'm not sure who you are, but I appreciate. Thank you for coming in. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, they got their history out of with the 40 days, and I'm just not sure what's going to happen next. I don't know. I'm not even confident that this is done. Because either some people, oh, we're just political pawns, or I'm just not sure what they're going to do. Convos with Cam says scare tactic as well. Well, yeah, I think I do think it's a scare tactic, and some people are just not. They completely fold up when they don't have that government dependency. They don't have that codependency that they have. It's almost like they just can't imagine life without that. And at some point they may have to. I will say, I think the restrictions on things, every event that we go through, or every simulated type event, something comes after it. So I'm imagining that maybe even to qualify for SNAP, since Trump cites all the corruption and whatnot, that they're going to tighten the requirements on that, citing waste, fraud, and abuse, the usual. And then, of course, along with this whole thing about but to me, I think this whole $2,000 tariff situation that's come out, I think that's a little bit bizarre. That a $2,000 tariff dividend. I mean, they're not going to give us anything. We're not going to get anything that's going to be without some type of strings attached to it. I'm not convinced that we are. So we'll just have to see. But, they talked about a Doge check during the Elon Musk and Trump bromance back in March. And nobody got, I don't know, I didn't get a check that was a part of the, waste, fraud, and abuse. I didn't get a check for that. So I'm just thinking, I don't know, it's just something about all of this is just really, it's just really dark. And I just think that it's just going to continue. And I appreciate you guys for coming in. I'll probably go into something specific later on today that's possibly a goal of mine. But I think people should just hold their horses, because I'm not sure that this thing, they could pass it in the House and then he still be like, no, oh no. Convos with Cam says, my mother retired from being director of social services, and she got the average time down to less than 2 years using the system. Gotcha. Wow. Well, and then see, another thing is, I think they're going to change. And see, to me, that's another way that they're going to change that age to, I tell you, they're always looking for ways to not give back to the people that have actually paid into the system. They're looking for ways to lock us out. Looking for ways to lock us out. Okay, if we eventually become more AI dependent and the jobs market, and the jobs get completely outsourced, I'm thinking they're not ready for that, but they're just looking for ways to lock us out, to lock the common man out even more. Um, that's a shutdown in itself. If you shut down the way it shut down the means in which the common man can provide for himself or his or her household, then what are you doing? You just keep shutting people out. Let's see. Fred Chambers 7030 says, is he going to give us another stimulus check? Fred Chambers 7030, I have no idea. I do know that, of course, it's going to be met with, I think I've already read something on legalities about whether they're going to do that or not. But I'm just thinking a little, it's chump change, okay? It's chicken change. $2,000. What is $2,000 in 2025? We can almost throw a rock at 2026. A $2,000 stimulus check is probably going to feel more like $1,200. I mean, I'm just saying, any mathematicians out there, anybody that's got an inflation calculator, or by the time you get it, you might even get it in 2025 if they were. And by the time you get it, it's not even going to be worth that much. That the rate of everything. Because whether you live in an armpit town or a large town, the prices have gone up at least by 20%. And you just go to a big box store, you can see that those prices are already ticked up. Convos with Cam says it ain't sugar honey iced tea. You're right. You're absolutely right. It is not going to be worth that. So I'm just saying, $2,000 is not a lot. Not this day. I hate to say it. Not this daytime an hour. Not $2,000. Most of us, I hate to say it. Most people, that's pretty much that's some of your bills, or that in some cases that doesn't even cover some people's rent. It won't even on the West Coast. Some of the major cities, $2,000 is not even covering an entire 1-bedroom apartment. It probably won't even cover a studio in Los Angeles, because I know back 7 years ago, or even maybe 8 years ago, a studio in LA was $2,500, and that wasn't even a nice one. A super nice one. That might have been just, you got a water closet and a bunk bed somewhere, but that wasn't, it's not going to, $2,000 will not even cover anybody's rent. It won't cover people's mortgages. I'm just saying at the rate of the inflation, it's just, to me, that's not even what the money is worth to begin with. So, Fred Chambers, I really don't know. It remains to be seen what's actually going to happen. So I appreciate you guys so much for coming in and loving on the like button on this Tuesday. And you guys could have been anywhere else on the planet at 23 minutes and 31 seconds, but you decided to swing by here. I appreciate it. So so what I'm thinking is I'll probably come back later. I think the healthcare situation is going to get even more wild. Hi, it's Latressa Montgomery 7932. Shalom. Welcome in. Thank you so much for coming in. So yeah, we're just kind of chatting it up on the way things stand, the current status of this whole shutdown. I just want to say this on here. It's not open until Trump signs it. It's not open until it goes to the House. And then it goes to and they vote yes in the House, and then it goes to Trump's desk and it's yes. But in the meantime, I'm not even saying that's the most important thing. I'm like, okay, what are people doing in the meantime? If we're going to just go back to our usual routine and, they're like, what are we learning from all of these? Because to me, as I just said, these are exercises that we're going through. We went through an exercise in 2019, 2020, and now this was another exercise. But with every exercise, something new emerges. I think we have an opportunity to learn something. But I'm thinking a lot of people, they've already gone back to sleep. They're already trying to figure out, well, how soon is their whatever going to drop or whatever. But also the damage is already done to a lot of people. It doesn't take very long. Unfortunately, the way the common man, our lives work, most of us are just one disaster away from dire straits. Most of us. Let's see. Latressa Montgomery 7932 says, yes, that healthcare is what keeps me up at night. Yeah, it's pretty wild. And it's just not to mention our food is not our food has little or no nutrients. I mean, it's just kind of a mess. It's kind of a bust. Convos with Cam says walking around with eyes wide open. Yes. So you just never know, like I said, this not only is it what is a good job this day, time, and hour, and then also what is the such thing as job security. Like, I'm not even sure if there's a such thing as that. I'm not even sure. We're all, we're living on a prayer hoping that they don't raise our health care. And see, that might be another thing that comes out of this. You know, since we're all about the Trump administration is all about saving money and, a golden age or whatever. Meanwhile, they're putting golden carpet and building ballrooms. I mean, guys, if this doesn't show you, I'm telling you guys, this is not, I hate to say, this is not a good look. It's not a good look. It's not a good feel. It just kind of shows you these people are not, were they ever in touch with reality, with the common man to begin with? And I would say most definitely no. Because, the average person, if you pick up a few items in the grocery store, you've already spent $100. You're lucky if you get out of there, if you go to a Walmart and you get out of there for less than 50. But if you go in there, you don't go in there trying to buy, don't go in there saying you're cooking a Sunday dinner or a dinner for more than one or two people. Oh wow, you're going to be, I mean, it's outrageous. It's outrageous. And a lot of times we're getting the same amount or less for more money. I guess that's the shrinkflation of it. So, but yeah, you guys, I appreciate you guys so much for coming in and loving on the like button. And like I said, I'm probably going to come back later with something specific. I've been wanting to get into AI a little bit anyway. Shout out to Derek C. Williams, who talked about, it's interesting what the GLP-1, the ingredients from the GLP-1 and the Wegovy's, and wow. I mean, just, we are in it with these, with Big Pharma. And we were 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago, because Big Pharma, what was it? Big Pharma, it was Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson and Johnson, blah, 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 blah. I mean, big time, big time. And it's like those people have all been they've all been renewed, and hitched to the healthcare system on a greater scale. So with the backing of the government, but there again, they've got their place. They're restored. They're going to be back to the levels that they were. Hang on just a second. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, so I'm just saying they've been restored. And unfortunately, we're going to be the ones that are going to pay for it. We're going to pay for it in our health. We're going to pay for it in our pockets. There's a lot. And I hate to be the Debbie Downer here, but I think we've got to do something much different than we did before the next one. Let's just say prepare for the next one to, do that kind of thing. Fred Chambers says 7030 says, I see some revolutionary in your channel, so I will subscribe. Okay. Yeah, I'm about as right now. I'm about as revolutionary as going from wheat bread to sourdough. So I mean, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So For instance, like a lot of people are out here whining about, oh, I'm not going to be able to get my kids blah 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 for Christmas and blah 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 blah. I'm like, well, how about you just feed your kids? How about you just do that? How about you just make sure they're clothed and they're fed and they're clean, clothed and fed? How about that? Instead of worrying about how you're going to indebt yourself to another lender into the next cycle. So how about that? How about you just make sure you feed and clothe and care for your kids? Make sure they have a roof over their head. How about that? That could be a tradition, you know, instead of falling for all these traditions that are going to make these people wealthy. Now, I don't know if there are any boycotts or anything going on, because right now, Walmart, for instance, Walmart is already running, they've already started a Black Friday type sale. I think it's running from the 14th. I think they're running some specials right now. Um, well, just for kicks and giggles, you know, the Walmart Black Friday sales. Okay, they're running ads already about Black Friday, and that you can even get to be a Walmart Plus benefit. You can be on that program if you for 50% off. Walmart, get Walmart Plus for 50% off right now with free shipping, streaming services, and da 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 da. So I don't know. And maybe, I don't know, maybe this was the motivation for them to get the government reopened. I have no idea, but who has money? Who's going to have the money to shop? Fred Chambers 7030 says, what do you think about the air traffic controllers flying the plane? I'm not sure I know the exact reference there. Um, I'm not sure what the quals are for air traffic control, but I'm pretty sure they have the expertise, but I don't know. They need to take care of those guys, because without them, you know, who knows? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We'll see. It's a dangerous time. What can I say? But they're not necessarily, you know, they're not as far as I understand. I don't know an air traffic controller that's a pilot. I do know pilots, but I don't know one that has both of those. I don't. Um, I know that's a different training. I know that much. So what do you think about the? Yeah, I wouldn't say. I would probably say no. They don't have, unless they're going to, you know, pay for that training. Yeah, that's what they would. I mean, I know that I'm sure they have simulated trainings as well as the pilots, but you know, I'm just not. It's they have to go to flight school to do that. I don't think they're going to save any money. I think they should save lives right now. And if those guys need to rest, if those guys have timed out, let them time out and let them have a break. Is what they need to do. And don't put people's lives on the line. Don't. Um, but once again, I appreciate you guys so much for coming in, and I appreciate you guys for loving on the like button. So, like I said, it's very possible I will be back later today. And it might be something on AI. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's already a stressful job. So if you're already stressed out with the nature of the job in itself, and then you have a family and you've got your own bills to take care of, and you're not being paid, then I would imagine all of that is stressful. It's stressful for them. So if you compact that stress with not paying them and them calling out sick, whether they're sick or not, that's not good for aviation. That's not good for the flights, for the crew, for it's not good for anybody. It's not good for the ground crew. It's not good for anybody. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Louisville, which is, you know, Kentucky, I think they've already had a situation in which I think they've already had a situation in which a plane either crashed or they had some type of, you know, something went horribly wrong. And with UPS, I do believe that. I mean, I know a little bit more about that, about this industry that I'm going to give up on this channel, is what I will tell you that. But yeah, there was a UPS, some type of UPS crash, I believe, in Kentucky. Um, so yeah, we'll see. But there again, it says the FAA halts flights on an MD-11 as a McDonnell Douglas 11 cargo planes and requires inspection. So yeah, a lot going on, a lot going on, a lot's at stake. I think the government needs to train a lot more people to do a lot more roles. If they, especially, they need to pay, they need to maybe even train them and not charge them for going to school. Is what they need to do. There's a shortage of pilots. There's a shortage of pilots right now. I know that for a fact, because a lot of the baby boomers and a lot of baby boomers and a lot of people in that industry are retiring, which is creating a shortage in that industry already. So it's a good time. Um, Maybe the government needs to step in and do something, and maybe give people, train some pilots, train more people in aviation, and that overall would be. But there again, I think we're getting ready to shift to something much different. They're setting us up for a new system right now. So we don't know what that industry is going to look like. We don't know what those safety standards are going to look like. They might figure out how to fly less people, smaller crews or less crews to get people from one place to another. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I just wouldn't. No. Yeah, I don't know anybody that has both of those qualifications. Um, I don't know. I mean, I know that it's, to me, it's like 911. In my experience, it's kind of like 911 going into the tower. Um, I mean, there's intelligent people working. You got to be very competent people working there, but you can't over people. Man is not a machine. It's not. And see, there again, you're bringing something that I haven't thought about. They might start training. They might figure out that they're going to replace ATC with AI, and figure AI can do. Uh, AI might be able to do the air traffic control, and see, they're not going to have to give them benefits, breaks. They're not going to have to worry about them timing out. See, I'm just saying all of this, it's an opportunity. I brought that up at the beginning. I said, is this a crisis or is it an opportunity? But the common man needs to look at it that same way too. Is it a crisis for us, or is it an opportunity? What are we going to do to prepare for the next one? What opportunity are we going to take from this? Are we going to see it that way, or are we going to see it another way? And then what are we going to do about it? Not just complain about it or talk about it. What are we actually going to do? What are we putting in place in 3 months? Where do we want to be? Do we have a plan? Where do we want to be in 3 months? Where do we want to be in 6 months? Where do we want to be before the next one? At least have some other sources of food. Um, I don't know. I guess that kind of comes into that whole, community, or dare I say, homestead type situations. um a lot of people are more open to that. They're able to produce healthier foods, cleaner foods. um yeah, you got to get your hands dirty. You got to learn how to, you need, in a situation like that, you need people that know how to do construction. You need people that know how to do electrical work. You need people that know how to take care of livestock, that know how to, you know, that have some agricultural skills or some co-op type skills. Or yeah, I mean, it's definitely a project to get prepared, to really get prepared for the next one. So yeah. But once again, I appreciate you so much for coming in. And for those of you that came in and loved on the like button, I really appreciate it. And like I said, I may be back later. Might get into some AI. And like I said, maybe this is why this whole thing about AI, the bottleneck issue with AI, and for them and for these companies to be able to, and even our institutions to be able to upgrade or upscale AI. Until they can get that, they're going to have to rely on the common man. But the minute they do, that's what we need to be. We need to be thinking about whether this is for the common man. Is this your crisis or is this your opportunity? And I'm thinking it's probably an opportunity to try to get some training and to try to get some other like-minded people together. Just saying. All right, guys. Again, this is Black Spring with Autumn on your November 11th, and this is Veterans Day. And I appreciate you guys so much for coming in and loving on the like button. And I will look forward to seeing you guys a little bit later. If anything in here resonated with you or echoed with you, feel free to share it out. All right, guys.